Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're not just going to look at some dry, dusty syllabus of cybersecurity topics. No way. Instead, we're looking at a master blueprint. I want you to really think of the concepts we're analyzing today as the ultimate architectural plan for building an impenetrable digital fortress. In the modern world, protecting your data isn't just about slapping a padlock on a door anymore. It's about constructing this massive, multi-layered, highly strategic defense system. Every single concept we're going to cover today, it's an absolutely crucial stone in the walls of that fortress. I am so thrilled to guide you through this material, so let's get started on building those defenses.
Here is our roadmap for today. It's built on 5 interlocking pillars. 1. The networking foundation. 2. Mastering Linux environments. 3. Scripting for automation. 4. Security fundamentals and protocols. And 5. Defending against cyber threats. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The networking foundation. So before we even think about building the walls of our fortress, we've got to understand the physical terrain and the roads leading up to our digital castle. I mean, if you don't know how traffic actually arrives at your gates, you literally have no hope of defending them, right? To understand that terrain, we look at the OSI and TCP/IP models. Think of them as a step-by-step map of how data travels. Step 1 is the physical and link layers. We're talking the actual cables and local connections here. Step 2 is the network layer, and this is where we handle routing basics and subnetting. You can kind of think of subnetting as dividing your surrounding lands into smaller, manageable, easily policed districts. Step 3 is the transport layer, dealing with common ports, which are basically the specific doors into your fortress. And finally, Step 4 is the application layer. This encompasses the protocols we interact with every single day, like DNS, which acts as the ultimate phone book of the internet, and HTTP or HTTPS, which dictate exactly how web traffic is packaged up. Together, the whole shebang forms the infrastructure moving data across the network. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast between our careful career, requiring a signature, and, well, a fast-firing catapult that perfectly represents the strategic trade-off at the transport layer. TCP is reliable, it's connection-oriented. It double-checks that every single packet of data arrives perfectly, just like that courier delivering a vital message. UDP? UDP is fast and connectionless. It essentially just fires the data off as quickly as possible without waiting around for a receipt. As a defender, you absolutely have to understand when your network is strategically trading reliability for sheer speed. Because trust me, attackers know exactly how to exploit both of those methods. Of course, knowing the roads just isn't enough. You need eyes on them. And this is where our essential visibility tools come into play, Wireshark and NatMap. Think of these tools as your frontline scouts. Nmap maps the roads and the surrounding territory, telling you exactly which doors and ports are wide open on a network. And it is mind-blowing how fast it is, too. A well-configured Nmap scan can map thousands of ports across a massive enterprise network in mere seconds. Wireshark, meanwhile, is doing the deep packet analysis. It's out there stopping and inspecting every single piece of cargo traveling along those roads to your fortress, making absolutely sure nothing malicious is being smuggled inside. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Linux Environments. Okay, so if networking is the roads and the terrain, the Linux operating system forms the very walls and internal structure of our digital fortress. Most enterprise servers and security appliances run on Linux, making mastering it absolutely non-negotiable. Inside the walls of our fortress, we need strict order. And that order is maintained by the Linux file system structure and, most importantly, permissions. Permissions are the critical access control mechanism. They dictate exactly who is allowed to read, write, or execute specific files. Alongside process management, which is controlling what programs are actively running, and package management, controlling what software is installed, permissions ensure that even if someone manages to sneak inside the walls, they are severely restricted in what they can actually touch or alter. Now, when you're managing this internal environment, you're going to need powerful tools to parse through absolute mountains of data. Enter the text processing trio, grep, awk, and sed. The crucial point is that these aren't just dry, boring command line prompts. When you're staring at a massive system log with thousands of entries and you need to find the exact moment an attacker tried to breach a specific file, grep, awk, and sed are your best friends. They are the essential tools for finding that one needle in a haystack of malicious system logs. But hey, reading about this is one thing, you actually have to get your hands dirty. And the ultimate interactive training ground for this is the over-the-wire Bandit wargame. It brilliantly gamifies the learning process, letting you actively practice navigating the file system, applying permissions, and utilizing those Linux networking commands in a totally safe, simulated environment. It's incredibly fun. Let's level up. Section 3, Scripting for Automation. All right, at this point, our fortress is built and our guards are trained, but human guards need sleep, right? And they can only work so fast. Scripting is our automated defense machinery that basically scales up the fortress's capabilities without needing any manual human intervention. The logical progression here starts with step 1, Bash. Bash scripting is perfect for quick, local tasks inside the server. Think log automation, automatically sorting and archiving those massive text files we talked about earlier. Step 2 scales things way up with Python. Python brings massive versatility to the table specifically through its requests and socket libraries. This allows your scripts to reach out across the network, interact with web services, and perform deep, complex network interactions that Bash just simply isn't built for. Let's move to and see how this builds into something truly functional. Let's look at a practical project, building a port scanner. By combining your knowledge of Python sockets, network ports, and a little automation logic, you can actually create your very own version of our earlier Scout, Nmap. This perfectly bridges the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical automated defense. It's a real game changer when you build it yourself. Shifting gears now to Section 4, Security Fundamentals and Protocols. This is where we establish the firm rules of engagement and properly brief the internal guards on duty. These core principles dictate all the security logic that operates within our fortress. The absolute required baseline for all defensive operations is the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality means only authorized people can see the data. Integrity means the data hasn't been altered or messed with. And availability means the data is actually there when you need it. We pair this baseline with AAA, authentication, authorization, and accounting, and non-repudiation, which basically ensures someone cannot deny an action they took on the network. These are the unbreakable laws of our fortress. Building directly on those laws, we have our core operational principles. Defense in depth means we don't rely on just one wall, right? We use overlapping, highly effective layers of security. Least privilege ensures a user only has the absolute minimum access required to just do their job. Then there is zero trust, and this takes everything a step further, operating on the assumption that threats are already both inside and outside the network. Trust no one, verify everything. Finally, managing the attack surface means actively reducing the number of possible points where an unauthorized user could even try to enter. Now, to maintain that confidentiality and integrity, we lean heavily on cryptography. The two main approaches here are symmetric versus asymmetric cryptography. Symmetric cryptography uses one shared key to both lock and unlock the data. It's incredibly fast, but securely sharing that one key is super dangerous. Asymmetric cryptography solves this by using a mathematically linked public and private key pair. You can hand out your public key to anyone to lock a message, but only your closely guarded private key can unlock it. This brilliantly illustrates how we mathematically share secrets across completely untrusted terrain. But these concepts don't just exist in a vacuum. They are actively applied. Hashing is used to verify file integrity. It's like creating a unique digital fingerprint for your data. Digital signatures utilize those asymmetric keys to prove authenticity and enforce that non-repudiation rule we discussed. PKI, or Public Key Infrastructure, is the overarching system that issues and manages all these keys. And TLS, Transport Layer Security, puts it all together to secure real-world communications, like when you connect to your bank's website, ensuring literally nobody is eavesdropping on your transaction. That is theory put into active practice. Which brings us to our final pillar, Section 5, Defending Against Cyber Threats. So we've built the fortress, we've trained the guards, and we've set the rules. Now we have to face the modern threat landscape and understand the relentless attacks our newly built systems absolutely must withstand. And guys, this landscape is vast and terrifying. Defenders are up against social engineering, where attackers manipulate human psychology rather than software. They face malicious software or malware designed purely to disrupt or destroy. There are web attacks targeting specific applications, broad network attacks aiming to take down the infrastructure itself, and credential attacks relentlessly trying to guess or steal usernames and passwords. These are the very real-world scenarios security professionals are fighting every single day. When it comes to web attacks specifically, the absolute definitive industry resource you need to know is the OWASP Top 10 Breakdown. This is a vital, must-know catalog published by security experts that tracks the most critical web application security risks in the entire industry. It's an ever-evolving list of exactly what vulnerabilities attackers are having the most success with right now, essentially acting as a crucial target list for defenders. Which brings us to our final thought. We've mapped the network, built the Linux walls, automated the defenses, and studied the threats. But knowing the blueprint just isn't enough. You have to evaluate your own digital life. I want to leave you with this direct challenge. Look at the devices, the accounts, and the networks you manage. In a modern world that demands a zero-trust mentality, how secure is your attack surface? Are your digital fortress walls truly impenetrable? Think about it. Keep building your skills, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.